your voice.
Yeah. Who's this guy here? Ukraine.
Why I fucking thread is because we've been supplying them, bro. If we didn't supply Ukraine with anything, they didn't done already, bro.
Right? Do you remember when Donald said that Ukraine is going to fall 3 days? It's been 1,500 days.
How much U.S. money is
You're just rushing it.
I'm not even sir. Let me go ahead and just block you for the rest of the life. You'll never.
But remain. I mean, everything you're saying is hogwash, brother. Again, you understand how many billions of dollars we've dumped in Ukraine? How many?
You must know better than me. I was really. That's why I actually drink.
Yeah, well, let him finish though.
You know, I mean, they got citizens.
You really don't know better than me. You're not even.
Okay, I got a couple of things here. First, Trump never said that Ukraine would fall in 3 days. He said, and I quote verbatim because I can pull the actual fucking quote, which is really easy. Google's a thing. Is that without U.S. support, Ukraine would have fallen within a matter of days, 3 or 4, and then he changed it to a few weeks at best. That was his direct quote. And yeah, that's true. Zelensky went through 90% of those resources faster than anybody ever anticipated, to the point where Biden was even arguing with Zelensky about how he was spending it, and how his generals were basically throwing everything at a wall and not utilizing resources appropriately. And Biden had trouble getting the rest of Europe to chip in at the extent. And to be fair to you, yes, it was older equipment. Yes, it was still on par with what the Russians were throwing at you. And yes, Biden did block aid that wanted to be released.
As of the end of 2025, you contribute 69 billion. Germany had done 13 billion, and we done 10 billion. Yeah. So, pro-rata, and
Still is
well, no, it's never going to be as much as you. That much bigger economy. But I don't want to get bogged down. I just wanted to make one point that if we assume, that there is an imminent threat, looking at it from a different end of the telescope, that then leads to the nuclear weapons last year. That obviously didn't complete and succeed. So here we go again. Why can't I quite get my head round, and it's not a criticism, it's just an observation, is that in order to absolutely make sure that is completely destroyed, if it exists, how do you do that without getting boots on the ground? And in the same way, when Trump, I think it's a bit of a stretch to say there's a regime change that's happened. Yes, the leader was killed, and other leaders are being killed. But for 1 minute, I don't think that Iran's not prepared for that. So how are you really going to do a regime change? And the people don't look as if they're uprising. Without boots on the ground.
Required to transform these simple green beans into a melt-in-your-mouth masterpiece.
You were talking about oil companies from America going in there. If that ain't going to happen under this regime, you are going to change it. Not just with the leader, you are going to have to change the regime.
A full night's soak allows the beans to swell, softening their resolve before the fire takes over.
That's true.
Once drained, the beans are layered into bamboo steamers. For 2 full hours, one traditional sheechin, the steam permeates every grain. There is no shortcut here. The heat must be steady, turning the firm beans into a delicate, floury mash that carries the scent of the summer harvest.
You need to comply with this. Go ahead. And
Now
if you are
comes the
going to
labor
do
of
a
love.
regime change,
Every blade
there's
is
a couple
pounded
things.
by
The
hand,
key word is
then
change.
sieved.
Who in Iran are you going to put it to? Tel Aviv?
This
He spent
ensures
30
the
years in
final
Maryland
cake
drinking
possesses
Starbucks,
its
eating
signature
cheeseburgers.
sand-like
He's not going to do
texture
shit. He can't
when
unite them.
called.
They'll have internal fighting. That
It is
fucker
a
will be lucky if he
physical
lasts a
remedy,
week before
a bridge
somebody
between
in,
the raw
in
harvest
Iran
and the
kills him.
refined palate.
That'll be really fucking quick. How are you going to back the Sunnis and get them to temper down because they fucking go mass jihadi? How do you actually hold against Turkey's northern or southern aggression, which is just dying at that point? Which we know they're a NATO alliance, but Turkey's like that bastard child that we just really have a hard time with. That we never quite know if they're going to be good or bad. And Turkey really does want that territory. Most of you have missed that part about Turkey just sitting there watching and waiting. And that's the scarier threat is if Turkey decided we're going to leave NATO and become our own and we're going to control this massive region, how do we deal with Turkey at that point? Should we go in and invade it? Should we attack it? Is it a broader war? So I don't know if Trump needs full regime change or more of I'm just going to change the leader until I get regime compliance or I get Iran's government to capitulate to the United States interest and leave the straits open and allow the shipping. Now, we can go through the laundry list, which is really extensive, on attacks on U.S. ships, both civilian, private, commercialized sites, contracting areas that exist around the countries, and various other ones that Iran has done for 50 years. There is a blood toll. Like, I'm okay with bombing the shit out of them because I think it's about time, and we've had a lot of American blood spilled by Iranian hands. And cities with the impression, like, well, we fucked around with them because we supported Israel. To be fair, the Iran-Israel conflict has been going on fucking far longer than the U.S. involvement in there. So that one's not necessarily a new thing. Like, it started after World War II, and the U.S. was not really involved in that escapade there. So that negates that viewpoint for at least me. But if you're talking regime change, you have to have somebody to put in change. Who is the leader in Iran that can literally take the majority of that country and bring it into prosperity, or at least give it some semblance of government, while dealing with all the shifting groups, tribal dynamics that exist there, as well as provide some semblance as a platform to launch off and provide stability within that nation?
I have no idea.
No one does, because there's no one there that's rising up. You even hear Iranians going, give us Pahlavi. We want the son of the Shah, or the grandson, or whatever he is. We want him to come back. Really? Okay, his father wasn't fucking great, but okay, and he's not been in Iran for 30 fucking years. He grew up on Starbucks, McDonald's, watching Netflix, chilling with...
He's not claiming that he's going to be a leader. He said that he's going to be a transitional thinker. He doesn't want to be of any importance politically. He just wants to be, what about the 30 or 40,000 people who were killed? They were protesting all over Iran. I mean, let's not forget it. The main difference in the analysis that I think people run into sort of a dead end with comparing it to Iraq to Iran or Libya. It's that it's not the same type of category of the country. It already had a pro-Western infrastructure before Ayatollahs came in and kind of took over and created this theocratic regime. So they do have institutions there that can take over once there's a power vacuum absent of Ayatollahs. So it's not the same as Iraq. It's not the same as Libya. It's not the same as any of the countries in that area. And this is why I think Israel is very, receptive to having them turn, because they will be one of the main allies for Israel, because they're going to be very similar in terms of their structure, their government structure. But another thing, Zik, I want you to consider that Iran is not the end goal. Iran in itself is part of the larger strategy that has to do with China. I think he was going to say. I think he was going to say China. Andre, you went on mute. But Brad, I was going to mention. The Shaw was a really lovely guy. You should look at the documentary where he spent $1 trillion in today's money on a birthday party, build an entire city in the desert. I love the Shaw. He was amazing.
Must have been a hell of a party.
Oh my god, dude! He flew in elephants and freaking built entire cities, and it was crazy. That's one of the reasons that it started getting people pissed off at it.
You sound like you was there.
No, I watched the documentary. You fucking tried.
Oh, okay, all right.
Jesus Christ! It's not even Saturday, Kendo.
All right, bitch. Shut up.
It's fucking 6 sheets to the wind.
Yeah, but you know what?
Yeah,
I'm better sheets to the wind than you, bitch.
Brooks. Go watch Foster Brooks, Kendo.
Not too much. Kendo, I like a lot.
No, what's up, Brad?
How you doing, bud? I will say this, Andre, I get your point that the long-term strategy is to kind of impact China. I still am not looking at China as a raw threat. I think, honestly, people say they have fear that they'll invade Taiwan. I don't see that happening. Unless, of course, maybe they could get ballsy. It'd be interesting to see what they do. But honestly, Japan would take them on. And Australia together have signed an agreement with the Philippines to protect Taiwan. So that's a pact that's just not going to win on China's front.
Just to kind of, it's not that militarily that they are threatening the United States. It's been going on since probably 70s and 80s. It's an attempt to provide an alternative to a free market model with something that they call a hybrid socialism free market system. The Davos is all about that. There have been papers written in I forget the guy's name right now, but he's one of the economists who went through the London School of Economics, that Fabian Society bullshit. And so it's
Milton Friedman?
Yeah, that's the guy. So it's an idea that there's going to be an alternative to the United
The Daily
States.
Wire has sued the federal government again
create
and
the
again.
sense within
We
the
have won.
ranks of the sort of hegemony that the United States has created in the world trade. They're a bigger threat in that respect, not just militarily. I mean that's kind of they're not going to try to fire missiles or anything at the United States allies. It's a soft takeover.
Yeah, even there, maybe they could be successful. I think that's a long-term gain. I don't know if China could actually pull it off economically. I mean, internally, their economy is wonky on the best of days. I'll give it a par. And what people often cite is just Beijing. They don't really go. Maybe they'll throw in Hong Kong, but they don't really take a look at the nation at large. They just immediately focus on Beijing. So I'm not even sure that they even have the economic might to do that soft takeover like you're describing. But I mean, I see the threat there. Maybe they could. Maybe it's a slow crawl. Maybe they are doing it piecemeal. Maybe they'll be successful. I don't know. I mean, they have a close competitor that's also trying to do economic gains, and they're doing it in resource-rich areas, which is a neighbor that really hates them, and they're called India. So, and I think they're going to be a bigger global power player than people realize going forward. I think I kind of watch what they do, and the way they're working in Afghanistan, the way they're working in Africa is kind of, it's unique. They're not doing it with a lot of complaints. They're just building shit and doing something and getting trade for it, and they're making their inroads there. But we'll see how they develop, because India could fuck it up too.
No, I was going to say my business is energy efficiency technologies, and I do get all my technology from China. And one of them is not just the price, it's if changes need to be made
Asian in China.
You think the more technologically advanced spy orders are illegal? Which country do you think is the more?
Oh, that's a good question, actually, because China are very good at copying. Yeah. So it's more a question of I almost had to take the technology to China and go, make that for me. And I don't really know that much about Israel, but they are a forward-thinking, I think, from a technology.
Hi, Johnny.
So it's a difficult question. China, the advantage of China is I can go, that is what I want you to make, and they make it cheaply, and their factories are amazing. So they're
Good.
geared up. They're very clever, but I don't say that they necessarily, in every department anyway, have the same level of innovation as the US does, for sure.
Yes.
Just finishing up with chopped salad and beer.
When the payment agent came up and said that, but are they trolling? Are they trolling or something like that? Are they let me put you in the shut the fuck up section. There you go.
I love that.
Eddie, you
What's
was in there
wrong,
probably in
beautiful?
that time for about 3 seconds, so I was like, okay. I
I'm
didn't realize he was,
done for an
kind of a
espresso.
baby maybe at that point. But then when you guys told me
Some
about it,
herb.
I'm back this case.
Down.
You're fighting the good fight.
Yeah, I'm still gonna punch it, and then I'm gonna get
See, we was all over here tonight, and I said, I heard you back there fighting and battling and shit like that. I was like,
I thought it was fair because he made me do that in his room earlier. He was like, "You can
Did you hear his voice? It was like,
Israel.
I was trying to work. I'm trying to navigate fucking office meetings and shit like this. And then I'm looking for my fucking car. I'm yelling at people on fucking Clubhouse while looking for my car in the parking garage, which is 9 fucking stories. And I'm like, oh, this asshole. Like the entire time I go on mute, I'm like, I want to fucking smack Satan's beard into the, like, dude, it's 9. It's literally a 9-structure parking ramp. And it has, so there's like 6 different ramps within this 9-structure thing, and you just like you take the lift up, and then you're like walking around, and then you're going up levels and down levels. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start from the bottom and walk my way entire up, and go all the way to number 8 where I parked my fucking car. It was, listen, woman, it was there. It kept pointing to the parking garage. I'm like, I know I'm fucked. I hit that. I kept hitting the locked door, beep, the horn, and I'm like, what the fuck is the...
panic button. I would love to hear that motherfucker press the panic button. I mean, that would make it my day to hear that shit.
Shit. I will. Fuck. I mean, I can find my way. Trust me, no one thinks I'm gay at work. They're actually kind of scared.
That's the best ruse. You know, seriously, if you when you want to raise somebody press the it's usually like, I'm here to help the dance on this stress.
That was weird.
All right, guys. Good night. Mr. Ryan, mighty good seeing you.
Sing us out. Bye, buddy. All day long on Clubhouse. What another day, another victory. Daddy's home.
Happy man now again, so she is all pretty happy again. So you know,
Hell yeah.
I call you, bro.
She ain't big enough. She ain't big enough yet, KK, to fit in the little baby clothes y'all sent. Once she does, you'll be the first one to get pictures. So
I appreciate the dialogue, Sig.
yeah. The fucking year. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm going to bed, but I'll send them to you tomorrow. I'm sorry, my bad. But Kevin, good talking to you. Nice to meet you, Kevin. And thanks for the dialogue, brother.
Bye, Kevin.
Respect.
Yes, sir. Hey, guys, I'm actually going to drop off too, man. Gerard, thanks for letting me up. Glad I got a chance to tap in.
Another day, another
So,
dollar.
I'll definitely be back.
Always a pleasure.
Great night.
Always a pleasure.
Oh, Kevin, you caught us on a rare night. We used to be really prominent on here, and we used to hold rooms
Very prominent.
Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays, and we would hold them, and we would pack out, and it would be great. And then we kind of got busy with life. KK divorced me, and then
I dream.
How about I didn't even know Clubhouse was still a thing until Gerard told me he was going to have it down here in I don't know how long. So, no, this was cool. This was good.
Be sleeping next time. Oh, you KK rejected you, right? KK
The
brought
fuck?
You're over right now. You're over right now.
Right.
And moved him down to the audience, and I said stuff like, "You're gonna have to cook your own damn dinner tonight." And people were like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, you sleeping in?" And I made it a ruse and said like, "Oh," I was like, "Okay, Brad and I have been lying. We've been in a relationship this entire time." And then we're like, "Okay, April Fools, so you missed it." Oh, you knew.
A woman like KK would never make a sandwich and submit to a man like Brad. I'm just saying.
Are you kidding me? She would have the sandwich waiting for me at home, tell me it's on the table, make sure I took my boots off and washed my hands, got rid of the blood off of my clothes and the woods, and then said, "Hey, shit, I wouldn't even be allowed in the house wearing the clothes that I have."
That's true.
Plus, I'd have to keep KK with like Louis Vuitton hiking shoes and apple bottom REI clothes, and it just I don't know if they make
those
those.
two things don't go together, but
See, yeah, I don't know if you don't go together either. Brad, you and I are in the same camp, but I get you.
Did you say apple bottom? Did I hear that correct?
he said apple bottom REI.
That shit again.
They're both fancy.
Wow. Right, that might be the most white boy shit I've ever heard right there. Apple bottom and REI.
I wish you guys would make up your mind. Either I'm black or I'm white. Will you guys pick a fucking race and stick with it?
What is wrong?
But it is good to have you back, my friend. I've missed you. I have so much. We got to talk later one of these days. I got so much to catch you up on. So many things have changed. So I'm really excited that you came back on for tonight. I'm really glad that everybody showed up. I mean, KK, where did we end up with? Almost 200 people come cycling through. So, I mean, it was a good room. It shows we still got it a little bit. We still have a little.
We had 97 in here at one time. I don't know the number
Is Mr. Amari?
No, that's Gerard.
Oh my fucking god!
I don't know. I don't know. My
Okay,
bad.
just finish up if I'm done
He said he came back on here and I'm trying to think what's too hard.
That's Gerard Jordan. Don't you remember?
Gerard. No,
I know. I said
Gerard. He just called you Amari.
Yeah, but I'm not Amari like that. That's not me. That's not me.
Did you say Homari?
I can't tell black. Okay, I'm sorry. I can't tell black people apart very well.
Can you see my face?
No, I can't. But
Right,
if you
so
hear your
how you
voice, you
know
sound black. That's what I'm saying.
I got you.
Meet our unfiltered friend Pepe.
I
Yeah,
Pepe for a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
yeah, Gerard.
Okay.
Gerard owned a lot of things. Like, shit, I missed some of those fights. It was good. Gerard was the one that he was like, here, come cry on my shoulder after my ass got tore up on Million Men, whatever that fucking room was with like 500 against 1. I went crying to Gerard. I was like, oh my God, I got beat up bad.
Well, they kicked out everyone in the room.
You got in trouble. Like, that's how I became friends with them. It's like I won't get into it. Nobody cares.
No, Pepe, but you know what the best part was? They all were like, oh, you're just a racist, blah, 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 this. And it was like, all right, fine and good. Then we pulled a room. And did you know that while we were sitting up there and we were working our asses off trying to mod this fucking giant room, because I've never seen a room this big. I didn't realize how much work it was. Like, Patricia and KK were like freaking spirit figures. We had to bring like people up to kind of monitor the channel up, and like Matt was doing it, Beaver was doing it, all these people were like fucking working their asses off. Gerard and I are working, and these same people in that room wanted to be up on stages, and we were like, oh fuck no.
Dude, like trolling, that is my first encounter with them. That's how they knew me. So I had a room like the downfall of Clubhouse. I had like chicken wing basketball, watermelon emojis, all of this stuff. And they're like, all of a sudden, like my room, it had, this is back in the day where rooms were bigger. So, I had like over 100 people in my room. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, all these people are pouring in. Then now there's like several hundred people. And it's just like, Jonathan Bing's just like, what's up with your title? It's like, oh, yeah, the downside, and I'm being a provocative troll. It's just like, oh yeah, it's the reason that our app, this app is falling down and it's going to shit is because of picnickers. And obviously I was like, the knickers part was the emphasis there, and I was like, yeah, I was just making up a bunch of shit, and they're like, oh yeah, really, you think that's funny? And then but they would end up like weird thing is they all ended up like friending me, and then like on Twitter. Yeah, and so like it's like, oh, here's our like little provocative troll. We're just gonna go ahead and let him talk his shit in our rooms, and like I would do it on Twitter. I thought it was kind of funny. They're like, Pepe, what are you gonna say? And then I would say my provocative shit, and then people get really angry, and I don't know. It was a fucking game to me, but yeah, I mean, I got dragged on. Like I was like the big white supremacist on this app for like the last few years, or at least like probably the most.
Is that something to be proud of?
Known one, and I don't know. I thought it was funny, like when people would make rooms about me, and then I would show up and be put on the hot seat. Like it was to me, it was actually like entertaining. Like I did a lot of this out of entertainment. Not for greater good.
Young midget. Like serious? Is that his real voice? Sounds like a.
No, we didn't really. I think we started out small, and then we became big, and then we became complex.
sucks, but it was fun.
Is this young midget boy seriously proud of being number one white supremacist? Is that his real voice? Sounds like a little boy. Is this a real person?
Okay, like I have the 4 questions, the 10 plagues. There's like other shit happening tonight.
Great, we got Apex number 1 lawyer set up.
The story of Exodus. How was the speech? I missed everything.
Oh, you were passing over.
A lot of people are still against the war in Iran. Still, I think it is just basically not really.
That's right. I'm waiting on the Booger Gate number 2.
Relate to economic inflation globally causing problems, but the speech itself, Trump didn't really touch. I don't know. He kind of just told us stuff we already knew, and he read from a script. He didn't do his typical thing, and he didn't close with YMCA, which is also eye-opening.
I mean, did he talk about the future of the war at all?
No.
No? The fuck? Apparently we didn't hear the same fucking speech, you fucking idiot.
We see you protesting and just wait and then come out like you didn't say anything like that at all.
Was it
So
a
he
law?
just
Like he couldn't live?
Maybe you should just fucking watch it, Abby, you stupid fucking bitch. Tell me about it. What did he say? Did he talk about the future of the war?
He basically like people who made out of just not. We are all well informed in this room. I truly believe that, just based on dialogue and the opinions that people have held, we are keeping up pretty much in real time from different sources, and we're forming our own opinions around it. He wasn't talking to us tonight. He was talking to people that just.
He wasn't talking to us. Who was he talking to then?
Maybe disconnected.
The people who were listening, but he wasn't talking to the people who was listening. Oh fuck!
Not as well informed as we are. So it was. Truth be told, it was a boring speech because it was repetitive.
It was repetitive. It wasn't repetitive at all. Every take on Clubhouse is the wrong take.
The one thing he said is that the next 2 to 3 weeks were going to be intense, and you know, he didn't explain why or how, but he did say that.
I think
If you think you're on Clubhouse is opposite of the truth.
I believe he said they're going to hit them the hardest. I believe his term was they're going to hit them the hardest.
But I do think the ceasefire that I guess the president from Iran is asking for, I think he's going to use that as leverage diplomatically, and I think that may kind of prove to be what he wants ultimately, because no one will convince you that he's a warlord. He's really not.
Have you seen?
And
do you know the numbers of how many people watched the speech, or?
I have no idea about that.
I'll look it up right now.
I mean, I think it was short too. That's the good part about it. He didn't ramble and double talk and go on one of his little tanks or whatnot, which is a good thing, I think. But again, for people that may be not as informed, I think it was more so for them than anybody else tonight.
Which is great if it got an audience.
Agreed.
Not a war hawk. He has killed 100,000 Iranians and he is not a war hawk. He has killed 100,000 Iranians and he is not a war hawk.
So there's a company that does the polling every time there's kind of like a national speech or a national type of
Not a war hawk. He has killed 100,000 Iranians and he is not a war hawk.
And I'm going to look, and I'll send it to our Telegram chat if I can find it. They did a polling tonight in real time, what people were gravitating towards or what, kind of resonated or whatnot with them. But Mesnetsky and Partners does a really good job of that, and it's accurate too. So I'll let you guys know once I get that information.
Where did he televise from?
The White House, you dumb bitch. The fucking football game? Maybe the Bruce Springsteen concert.
Was it in the Oval Office?
No. It was in, I don't know where it was, but he was behind a podium You walk through double doors into a podium.
I thought it was at a Bruce
I know, like,
Springsteen
right away,
concert.
How many people watch the Super Bowl, or how many people watch
I
something?
thought it was at a Bruce Springsteen concert.
Right now, I can't find anything.
Well, the irony is, no Jews watched it tonight. Everyone was in Seder's. So, what time
Here
is
you
it?
are talking about it.
9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
Just watch it.
Did he only talk about the
Here
war?
you
or
are
did he talk
talking
about
about
other
it. Just
stuff?
watch it, you clown.
He's
Who the
like
fuck is calling me a clown emoji in the chat? Who the fuck is that?
Just stating that the U.S. was on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly. He said in a few weeks. He didn't really, expand about that.
Pepe, you've been like so skeptical. How did you feel after you heard him speak? Feel better?
You feel better because you're always
I
agitated.
would say kind of the same. He did one thing which I thought was like rather pathetic. He said like, "Oh, hey, all of you others who rely on the Strait of Hormuz, send your military, help us. We did the hard part for you." I felt like that was, in a way, it's him showing that he doesn't have everything under control.
I mean, with respect
Well, I thought he had everything. All he had to do was hold up his magic wand, and everything would be under his control.
Allies to the United States who refused to participate in this war, which I mean, if I was a speechwriter, I wouldn't have really put that part in. But
It's because he wrote his own fucking speech.
I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping for the best. Even though I'm very pissed off that he pulled this shit. I hope at the end of the day that he does. You do have people who come into power. That's not the RGC. They're a lot better for the Iranian people. And yeah, they're going to stop like trying to develop nukes and to kill us. I mean, at the end of the day, I want the best for everybody, but I don't know that it's going to be pulled off.
What I don't quite understand is the activationist stance, because all of the, all of the.
Oh my bad. I'm sorry.
All of the positives that the United States has, like all of the, the consumer, the level of consumer standards is all.
Moira!
The United States is on top of its shit worldwide. It's not simply, it's not going to continue the same lifestyle and the same standard.
Lifestyle!
The United States is going to be concerned about itself and internal issues.
I'm confused about the ceasefire component on this.
Ah!
Saying that's coming from the president? Do they haven't not a new
Who is looking at a trans
president
for an extended period of time until I knew it was a trans?
Is he I believe he's the president. He wrote a letter. So he wrote a letter today, which would echo a lot of. I don't even want to. It was several pages long, but the weird thing is that every time he says that we're negotiating with them and they seem more reasonable, they come out and say like basically no, like fuck no, negotiating with you. No, you know you're not. Yeah, fuck you. And it's just like the really weird thing with Trump is like, and I have to say, he's like one president where I have to like question myself, like which one of these fuckers are
let's go to
basically
taking
exaggerating or flat out lying about what the other person thinks, and I don't know.
6% of the brass in the RTC is killed. So you have one dude who's probably a higher ranking officer in the IRGC that they're having like back channel communications with, and that guy's saying, yeah, I'll be the new leader, I'll do your bidding, and I'll do whatever y'all want. We'll be like best friends as long as you guys set me up and shit. And then you have all the other guys who are like similarly ranked coming out publicly saying, no, we're not fucking talking to Trump. And they may not even know that they're having back channel communications with that guy. So he might be the fucking rat that they don't know about.
But they have a president. It's different.
Well, it might be a military.
We're not talking about the president.
No, it might be a military general or leader that they're negotiating with to be able to. Maybe that's where the disconnect is, possibly. So I mean, that's exactly what happened with the Shah. So I mean,
no, I agree. And I would say, like, if we look at how what ended up happening in Venezuela, and something tells me they would have to have so much intelligence and people working on the inside. It could be the exact same thing with Iran.
I think they have more. They've got more intelligence in Iran, like 10 times more intelligence on the ground in Iran than they had in Venezuela. I mean, in Iran, because the Israeli intelligence is off the charts in Iran. So you've got.
I realize most of the intelligence on the ground in Iran is Israeli. Now, look, I will humbly, and I mean very humbly, say that. Let's just say we've lost 12. It was. I believe it's 12 people. It's sad, but moving past that point, what if he ends up, let's just say, completely changing Iran? The IRGC is no longer in power. They become a much better place. The Middle East is a much more. People start getting along a lot more. At the end of the day, it's a success. I'm not going to, I'll say like,
so humble. He screamed out earlier, why are we going to war for pikes?
Overly paranoid about his op-ed.
He screamed out, why are we going to war for pikes?
But if he can come out of this, basically changing what happens going forward with Iran, I mean, so they're no longer a threat. Which I think, in order for them to no longer be a threat, it means he says his goal was not regime change, but if he got rid of the regime, I mean, that realistically, I think that the plural majority of Iran, the only way they would be free. So, like, in a way, like, we're freeing the people, but then they're not going to be really hostile towards us. Is that you have to get rid of the fucking leadership. So my point is, like, if we don't get rid of the horrible people in power, it's kind of, what did we do? I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's kind of like futile. Like, we killed senior leadership. Amazing. They have a bunch of layers of power, and nothing ends up fucking changing with these people.
So Pepe, one thing that is this goes back. I actually freaking wrote a piece on this before it even happened. When the president of Mexico just came out and said there's no way in hell they were going to allow the U.S. to get involved, come in to have the cartels, all that stuff, and they were like, hell yeah, all the left was tell Trump off, and I was like, you guys are idiots. She's got to say that, because if she said yes, we're going to allow the U.S. to come in, we're going after the cartels, she'd have been dead 10 minutes. She has to be the most against that talk ever. And that's the same thing that's happening here. You're going to have people inside there that fracture, that know we've got one option, either die or work with these people, right? So we fracture. Cool.
Not a warhawk. He has killed hundreds of thousands of enemies, not a warhawk.
Starts to throw a wrench in their system. We literally found out that Israel they borrowed Iranian money. They were running a business making the damn cell phones in Iran. Stuff like this. This is how deep Israel gets. Israel is so embedded in Iran
to Trump.
that their intelligence has been off the charts. Does that mean they get everything right? No. But they've been pretty damn right. You know, the whole pager thing, brilliant. The whole text message to tell all their leadership to go meet here so we can bomb them. I mean, and then people want to say, well, we don't trust their intelligence. Well, globally, most people will tell you they have probably they're one of the best at intelligence. And that says a lot for a country like that.
You know, it's funny that
true.
It's funny that you said that about Mexico, and I totally support your point about Iran. You are maybe a third or fourth person who said that, and the other three people were native to Mexico, like so people who understood the internal politics and stuff. And immediately they said it right after she came out. So it's very plausible that the same thing is happening with Iran, especially now that there's apparent fractions within that homogeneous system, and the president doesn't necessarily listen to the new Ayatollah. So that's another possibility.
Aspects on the ground are, significant in terms of what they've had over the years spying there. And also what people don't realize, can you hear me okay? I'm in a weird place. What people don't realize is that in Israel, and culturally, there's so many Persians. There's just a huge population there. And it wasn't a difficult country to penetrate strategically and to spy on. So this is not just like a few spies. These are like thousands of people embedded within that society, enough to build a drone factory. I keep telling people, go watch the TV series Tehran, because it's spot on and it predicted a lot of this.
Oh my God.
Are you obsessed with it, KK?
Yes. I started watching that. Hold on just a second, Ice. Let me just be weird for a second. Yes, and the last season, the guy that was responsible and changed the scheduling of when they were going to take the bomb, and they moved it a day earlier, but it was already to detonate. Sorry, spoiler alert. The guy was Lajarani, the guy that was just killed.
Yes. It's crazy, isn't it?
I go, oh my God, Lajarani. I was like, oh fuck, that's him. They used his name. Crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. Same thing happened with Homeland the last season, with predicting the Taliban would come back in. It's sometimes crazy that a TV series can do that, but they really give you a flavor, just a sense of the Israeli espionage within Iran, and people don't understand that. I'm trying to think, if the U.S. sent a bunch of CIA, where would be a natural place that they could blend in and spy easily? Think of maybe Canada. I don't know, a country we could easily do that. And that was a very, it's culturally became something that they could operate.
The weird thing about, and I think maybe that's part of what helps them Assad is that you get people that come from every region of the world, whether it's South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and you have people that speak the native languages that are like they can fit in. Now we do in the U.S. We obviously have immigrants from all of these areas of the world, but when it comes to working for one of our intelligence agencies, you have to generally, at the very least, I believe, you have to be a naturalized citizen. But it's citizenship is a barrier. So it's it's weird. I can picture why. I mean, I would say like maybe Japan, Samoa. There's places where Jews are not going to be able to fit in as a native. But other than that, I mean, I do think they have a
but they don't
large
operate
diaspora where they can fit in most places.
They mostly operate in Europe. There's an understanding they don't operate in the United States. I have no idea if they operate in Canada, but they definitely have an agreement with the United States not to. But there's just a lot of Persians that live there and a lot of people that speak Farsi. So the intelligence gathering is just not difficult. Which makes sense that they were able to infiltrate the way they've infiltrated.
Well, I mean, can I ask you a question? I'm sure you've been to a shopping mall and
shopping mall?
So like, okay, so you know what? A lot of the kiosks. I mean, I'm trying to think of the shit.
Many Israelis.
Yes, they work at the kiosks.
Do you want to? Okay, so now I'll tell you that before they were working at kiosks. In the old days, in the Walkman days, they used to have a lot of the electronic stores in different cities. So often, when after military service, they'd come to the U.S. for a year and have some relative in some city and work, find a job and work for a family member. So in the old days, it was electronic stores. If you were from New York or from, the East Coast, there were some pretty famous ones. And you'd go into any of the stores in the downtown and you'd find Israelis. Now you find more Indian people working in them. Kiosks.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say it's the Dead Sea sea salt.
Oh yeah, well I was about to go there. You got that, Rich.
Yeah, it took you a long time, Abby.
It became the businesses that were in the malls, and that one company. I'm sure it's more than one company that does all the hand cream, the face creams, and they kind of hawk you a little bit when you're in the mall to come and they give you a free sample. I don't know if you had that experience.
I always declined. I always thought the Mormons were really good at like, basically I don't know what you call it. Is it a cold sale where you're just going to like hawk a product to somebody that is walking by, and I do remember there was no, absolutely not. And then but I do remember a few times where they would try to switch languages on me, right? Where they would speak Spanish. It's just like these people are trying super hard to make us fail. And the reason they speak Spanish in Arizona is just, first of all, you have a lot of wealthy Mexicans that end up coming here to shop. There's no real nice places to shop in the state of Sonora. And before any of you guys are going to say it, oh, you look like a Mexican. No, it's because, literally the rich people in Sonora are white looking. But anyways, it would...
Is this young frog sounding voice special needs?
And,
is this young frog sounding voice special needs?
Where I was at malls where probably
roasting. Do you like frog leg? Steamed or baked?
Encounters in my life. It's just like, I've talked to them and stuff.
They definitely work. I mean, if they have money, they do a year traveling Thailand and around the world.
Yeah, Thailand. It's a safe place to go.
It sets them up in a city. And so now it's the kiosks. I'm telling you, it used to be the electronic stores. But they're workers. It's not a culture that sits around. And it's usually when they just get out of the army. They'll take a year.
Why, like, this is off-putting. I'm just going to say, like, I'm not a good salesman. When somebody tries to, when I see somebody who's trying to, like, influence me for their own gain, that's just, I'm hardwired in a way, like, I just.
Okay, would anyone buy anything from Pepe? KK, would you buy something from Pepe?
Horrible salesman.
No, but that's also part of the culture. You're supposed to, haggle. And if you don't do that, like you're dumb or,
Pepe, have you traveled? Wait, Pepe, hold on. Have you traveled in the Middle East or even like Turkey? So if you've ever been, Turkey is probably the best example of it. But I mean, the culture are markets, shouks. The word is shouk, and it's from Turkey to all throughout the Middle East. There are these markets, and that's the lifestyle of the markets. It's the culture there. And haggling is exactly.
Americans.
This is not a Jewish thing. This is
no. That's what I'm saying, though, is that American Jews didn't interact. I would say, like, I don't recall American Jews ever. I've never noticed a pattern with them, like being similar to the Israelis. But I always looked at them at the time. It's like, oh, these people are foreign. These people are not from our country. So they have a different way of interacting. I mean, I can look at it with every other group that's foreign. They have ways that are, and at least in some way, different than ours. And so I just chalked it up to them being foreign. I didn't hold it against them. But, I'm somebody who obviously I don't, if I feel like somebody's trying to influence me for their own gain, I'm just not going to really, humor them.
Yeah, it's understandable, but that's what I'm saying. It's like a different approach. Like you and most of the, Western, that's how we see somebody, because we see it as some sort of attempt to cheat you, right, out of the money or whatever. In the Asia Minor and Middle East, it's actual good skill to have. Like the way they approach it is like, well, that person is obviously a go-getter. Like he can provide for his family because nothing will stop him. He'll get the deal that he needs. He's like relentless about.
So in other words, you'll be compelled to buy from him, because of how dedicated he is.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So
you need a trip, Pepe. You need a road trip. You need a trip to see that culture. Like in any of those countries.
I probably do, because this is foreign to me. Because it almost sounds like a merciful. You're mercifully buying from the
ultimate, the king of all of it is Istanbul. I mean, that's the biggest. There's nothing that can compare.
Yeah, but there's people foreign to us too, Abby. I mean.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying but what Andre's saying, it's cultural. It's just how that region is.
I 100% agree it's cultural. I don't see these were Israelis that were in these kiosks, not
all of them. Not all of them. There's also, I've gone to the kiosks. It's a lot of Middle Eastern. There's also a lot of Indian that work in them. It's a mix, but that's just how business is over there. And Israel's one little sliver of the rest of the Middle East, but it's a cultural style of doing business there.
But I would say this is the weird thing. It's like I was actually watching switch languages, which I always thought was, I think Israel's one of the countries, At least in the Middle East, how many Middle Easterners speak more than one language? Probably very few.
Many.
Really?
Oh my God! In Israel, they speak Arabic.
No. Middle East. In Middle East.
Oh,
In
no,
the Middle
like
East,
Moroccans.
aside from Israel. In the
Yeah,
Middle East,
Moroccans speak French and Arabic.
No, I get that.
Spanish and English.
Okay, but no.
Languages. Like,
My
how
point
many are speaking
was.
Chinese or something?
No, my point is what percent outside of Israel? What
Has this
percentage
low-IQ
of the
frog-sounding midget boy heard of
English
Google search?
is probably the most.
Is this low-IQ?
Most people try to learn and most people try to speak. Aside from that, I would say I can't think of any other country in the Middle East that would have more polyglots or bilingual people than perhaps Israel.
Well,
it's a country where you have a diaspora that was all over the fucking place.
But
coming to Israel.
Lebanon has a lot of French and Arabic. I mean, because the French.
French and Arabic, but you guys speak. But in Israel, you guys.
But I'm just saying, you guys just look at the nations.
Arabic, you speak all kinds of fucking languages.
Look at the nations and who has occupied them or spent time in them. So the French were in Lebanon, and you have influence there.
Middle Easterners, in my opinion.
They are beautiful people there. But I don't know the answer to it. But
Is this low IQ midget boy?
People speak English, Arabic, and French seems to be the other language that I hear a lot.
But yeah, I mean, it's like what is it? Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria. To varying degrees, they have exposure to French. I think Tunisia probably has I would guess it's Tunisia that still has the most. Still uses French the most, at least in Africa.
It wasn't on the north end. It was Lebanon and Syria that was occupied by the French. You have in the Gulf most countries that are on the Persian Gulf or Arabic Gulf, whatever you call it. A lot of people there speak both Farsi and Urdu. Here in Saudi Arabia, specifically in Mecca, with all the pilgrims, we have lots of polyglots in here. A lot of them just speak Urdu, speak like whatever it is needed.
I found when I was in Saudi, people spoke English
search?
very well, and obviously, their native tongue is Arabic, but they not Spanish. They spoke many spoke French also for some reason in Saudi. I don't know why, but there's actually pretty multilingual there.
Influenced the vocabulary that we use. A lot of words, especially for modern technology, not very modern, but and like post-industrial era.
Yeah, but I don't think they're
applying everywhere at every time.
Hold on. Everyone stop. That sounds like a definition of universal.
That's literally what universal is.
Well, there's an aspect to logic like strategy and like mental math. These are in the realms of logic also. Right?
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Donald, can I just move some people down to have a one-on-one with Byzantine? Because everyone's talking at the same time. We're not going to get
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
There's only 5 people. So you can't prove
Yeah, but I do want to have a one-on-one.
everyone on this stage.
Alligator was having a conversation of affecting or done by all people or things in the world or in
Okay, that right there is a universal claim.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Subjective. It's subjective.
That's okay. You're saying this thing right here is universal.
No. I'm saying the definition of universal makes it subjective.
Okay, that's a universal claim. Then this
No,
thing
it's not.
Yes,
Because universal is subjective.
Dude, okay, this is the problem. You said that this is a subjective. This thing is subjective.
Yes.
Or a subjective claim.
The definition is of affecting or done by all people or things in the world or in a particular group. Applicable to all cases or
Okay,
groups.
this logic.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. Shut up. Categories and groups like that are subjective only.
Yeah, you can leave on mute.
You told me not to mute you, so the first thing I'm gonna do is fucking mute you over and over and over again. You told me I gotta mute you. Look, that was a lie. That was a lie, right? That was a lie, Byzantine.
No, the other definitions of universal.
You fucking dumb nigger.
What?
Not you, Donald.
Well, what a horrible thing to say. Why would you?
Fuck him, Donald. Give a fuck. Okay, fuck you.
Hello, this is home. I'm going to leave the room if this is what you guys are doing. This is juvenile and immature, and I'm leaving. Okay.
So, I'm sorry for my opposition to you guys on that argument, but my view of the word universal, it does not allow for an understanding of it being what's the word, independent or non-universal. I mean, the word universal, it encapsulates what it is.
What don't you understand about the word universal? It means everything.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, universal means universal.
Until it means non-universal.
I'm sorry?
You said non-universal.
I can't hear you.
Did you said non-universal.
What do you mean I said non-universal?
You said universal is universal until it is non-universal.
Yeah, okay, no, I never said the word, the phrase non-universal. I said that my understanding of the phrase, of the term universal, is that that means it applies to everything. We got into a little bit of an argument during the last time someone came in to speak and, was unceremoniously kicked out, which they deserved to be.
I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in that. What is this room about? Is it about God? What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? I don't know.
Are you making fun of my accent, Casey? Are you a homosexual? I know you are. Don't make fun of the way I sound.
I am, and you're an Indian,
I am a man, and I happen to be from India. So why are you so gay?
Hang on. Dude, I don't care. Hang on 1 second, please. Now, if you want to get back to the bigot, we can.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, just got off work.
That's amazing. Yeah. Correct me.
Hello, I am interested in knowing what is this room about? Is it about God?
Shut up.
Why are you telling me to shut up? I am here asking about the room title and you're telling me to shut up. Why?
Yeah. Well,
you were being a bigot.
Young.
It was not being a bigot. He was making fun of me for being from India.
I'm sorry, did you say Jersey?
No, he wasn't making fun of you. He just told you that that's what you were. He wasn't making fun of you.
I couldn't hear
And
you.
I told him that I was a man.
Dude, shut up. Other people are talking, or I'm going to move you to the audience.
Well, do whatever you want to do, but I don't know what this room is about. Is it about God or not? Or is it a zero there? Is it even about God or is it about the G0B? What is this room about?
Apparently, we're having a conversation with home right now. Apparently, we're going to have a conversation with the bigot right now.
Okay, my wife is home now, so.
A bigot? I I'm interested in God. I'm not interested in your fake bigotry, sir. I'm not a bigot. Casey is a racist.
Home. No, other people were talking, and we asked you politely several times to shut the fuck up, and
you don't ask people to politely shut the fuck up. That's not polite to say shut the fuck up. Don't you know how to say please be quiet? That's not polite.
We did that, Dick. We asked you politely to not talk. We did that twice. And now, we can't talk to my friend because you won't shut the fuck up. So, what do you bigot? And now you won't talk, bigot.
No, I'm listening to a bigot call me a bigot. You are projecting, Donald. You are the bigot.
Imitate his accent.
Well, thank you, Casey. That was nice of you to apologize to the bigot.
I'm not a bigot. You are a bigot, and he's racist, just like you, Donald. And I thought this room was about higher level consciousness, things, and intelligence like God. Unlike you, screaming at people using profanity, you are just a disgusting human being. Shame on you, and shame on Abe for even listening to this as another co-moderator. And Casey is pathetic. Everyone here should leave and go have the best day of their life. This room is pathetic.
Go to a room with patented walls. If you can't handle like people speaking their minds, then just go to a room with padded walls. Like go somewhere else. Like good lord.
Go to the forest and be alone forever. Welcome Sanjeev to the room. Feel free to come on stage. Daniel Nero, thank you for coming on stage.
Get offline and go out into the woods and just experience reality for a second.
Yeah, this is called projection 101. You're talking to yourself. You're talking to yourself. Take your own advice. Take your own advice. Take your own advice, sir. Take your own advice. Take your own advice, sir. 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 Take your own advice. Take your own advice. That is called projection. That is called projection alert. You take your own advice now. I am complete.
I'm not recording. I'm not broadcasting, so I don't care.
No, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. A few minutes ago, there was no one else on stage talking, so I just let the bigot go. But if other people want to talk, I'll be happy to move the bigot to the audience.
The bigot, sir, is you. I am from India, and you are calling me a bigot because you are a bigot. That is projection. You are pathetic.
Oh, you call Casey dirty for being gay. That's being a bigot.
Did not call him. I did not call him dirty. I called him gay because I thought he was happy.
But you said you called him dirty.
Well, I was in a room yesterday, and you said you were bi-curious. I was in your room listening yesterday. You said you were bisexual and bi-curious, Donald, and Casey was a homosexual. You talked about it yesterday in your room. That's it. For me, this is just day number 2. I am figuring out what's this room about. You said you're bi-curious, and Casey said he was gay.
You sound like a bigot.
Well, put the link in the chat to where it says that I'm a bigot. Otherwise, it is just like your opinion, sir. It is just like your opinion, sir, that I'm a bigot. Put the link in the chat. Let me see the evidence. You're ridiculous.
I mean, it's right now. The things that you're saying right now, if you remember back 5 seconds and what you said, that means you sound like a bigot.
You are such a liar. You are such a liar. Donald Trump went on TV today and he made big lies just like you because you're a liar. And Casey is gay. That's a fact. Casey is a homosexual. That is a fact. And you are bi-curious. I heard it yesterday on your show. Here, what is the G0D?
Bi-curious, so the fuck what? I'm bi-curious, so the fuck what? See, saying it like that makes you sound like a bigot.
No, I just thought people would be interested. Since you're an atheist, you don't believe in God, but you believe in sucking dick. Maybe people here want to know you're bi curious.
What I do with my body,
Fuck!
I know the answer. None. Some other hand raised. Stage. Nope. Rico, welcome to the stage. Thank you for coming by.
Yeah, what's going on?
Oh, we're just berating a bigot. It's fun.
Wait,
Take note, I am not a bigot and you're projecting.
No,
Everyone here should recognize projection. I am not a bigot. It's ridiculous. I am an Indian man and you're only calling me a bigot because I am from India. You are a racist.
No, that's false. That's false. We're calling you a bigot because of the way that you said homosexual. I love brown people.
I like the brown. I've met Sikhs. I've met Sikhs and Hindus from India. I even met Muslims from India who.
That was horrible.
What?
Regal, that was probably one of the worst things I've heard someone say.
Totally.
John has no skills. John who?
A what?
I still Oh.
Don't even be because I'm only gonna hit one person.
You're just gonna kick people.
Regal. Because what the fuck?
Who do you want to kick?
no.
Let's have a serious conversation about God. Why are you wasting time? Every second, we only have 2.5 billion seconds in our lifetimes, and I don't want to keep paying my lifetime seconds for this bullshit.
You broke up. No one heard you.
I'm saying, what is the G0D? What is the G0D?
Oh, are you fucking John Kitover?
No. My name is Home and I came here for the second day. I live in Hyderabad. I'm from India. I'm a software developer. I work for Google as a contractor. And I am very interested in what you're talking about because I have noticed in Vedanta philosophy that the 0 and the 1, the binary, mathematics prove this as a God. So I was wondering if I could convince you that God exists mathematically.
That's so stupid. You think the existence of God is based in binary?
Don't use that word.
Home, did you get your alligator?
This
You went
looks
to
like
high
a
school to Paul?
sock account.
No, I came here to talk about mathematics. You are unprofessional. Is everyone here unprofessional? Does anyone here actually have
You know, that's the frustration. It's like I'm a former military wife, so our thing was no news is good news, right? Like just let the boys get their shit done. But I had someone come in the room. I don't want to say the person's name, and they were like, "Oh, well, I ran this through imminent threat. Was it imminent threat through Grok and AI and and she's like, oh well, I passed it and I could not find a single thing, like none of the AI intelligence where it was the imminent threat. And then she says all these things, and I was like, and I got off mic. I said, "Well, Bima, your whole premise is wrong because there's intelligence that you're not going to find on AI. You literally are not. They purposely don't make sure that stuff does not get out. What are you talking?" She's like, oh, she didn't even think about it, but she still took such ownership of it. And I'm like, how do you not even think that? Because that's how my brain thinks. That's my understanding of the military, but a lot of civilians don't have that understanding of the military. And like, I have that patience with it, but she really thought that she was going to be able to validate and prove her point that Trump was wrong and this was not imminent threat because she ran it through 5 different AI models.
I actually said to her, could you take a thesaurus and look at all the different words for imminent and try to figure out like all the different possibilities of what because she was so hung up on that word and just didn't understand it. But isn't it, it's almost like an entitlement because we live in a society where we think we have a right to know everything.
Well, and we access to information constantly.
Yeah.
I got one question for strategists that they think they know everything about, what Trump is doing. They know him so well. And it's like, you have no idea how much the United States military understands foreign affairs, foreign warfare. And these people are saying that, and again, these are Democrats saying this more so than anything. These lefticals, these different types of idiots that have been elected by other idiots. That's the best way to put it like this. And they want us to trust them. They don't even know what a woman is. And they want us to trust them with the military prowess of the United States Armed Forces. And that, again, they should be in charge. This is just, and the bad part about it, too, is that most people don't realize they want Trump, and this is the issue I have with MAGA Inc. Okay? They want Trump to solve every fucking problem.
Shut your mouth,
you mad when he doesn't solve their problem, basically with their urgency. And I'm just like, that comes, I guess it comes with the territory, but I've never seen so many people want one man to solve all the problems right now.
Well, they don't have a solution either. That's the issue.
I've never seen that before. And it's like, damn, the man is not even 2 years in. He's not even 2 years in.
He's like 14 months in.
And they're saying he's like, people forget so much he's done to really try to right the wrongs of the previous generation.
But guess,
administration.
Mr. Nkeke, I'm from India, and I think that there goes the Nobel Peace Prize. I mean, he's killed 100,000 Iranians in warfare. Excuse me.
He's saying we killed 100,000 Iranians. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I am from India, part of the Maharishi International Peace Movement. I don't know who you're talking about, Leo. The point is, Donald Trump has killed one.
I know who John Kitover is. What's this? John Kitover.
I want to hear what he's saying.
Please stop interrupting. Please stop interrupting me and be professional. Please stop interrupting me and I will speak.
He's pretending, mister.
Please stop interrupting me and be professional.
He's not really Indian.
I want to say that I believe in peace. Please stop interrupting me.
His other profile is Cappuccino, a light-skinned black woman.
Cappuccino?
Yes.
No,
I am part of the peace movement.
The interesting part is that you'll probably agree with a lot of what he says. But
well, he got some connection just then, so he can't
join. So, Abby, what I was going to ask you is this like a modern phenomenon with Israeli men being like super metro?
Okay, then.
Or is it like influenced by like French culture is my question.
I don't know. I really don't know. I just truthfully, I like the soldiers and I like them in uniform and I especially like the pilots. So
but I was listening to like Static and Ben L and I was like, oh, these guys are gay or something. And I looked them up and I was like, oh, they have wives. So I'm like, and kids and shit. I'm like, they're like wearing pink outfits and shit. And I was like,
that's not typical. It's a pretty macho society. Pretty much. So wait, just going back to this, what you were saying, to take it back to Trump. It's incredible to me that exactly that situation that you illustrated. How do you win? Do people think that we won wars by sharing it with you? Did we do newsreels to the U.S. public back in the 40s during World War II and tell them all of our moves that we were doing in Europe and every decision by a general? I mean, where did this come from?
Gang warfare is even smarter than that. They don't say, hey guys, we're going to come to your neighborhood and shoot you up next week. I mean, this is how fucking dumb they are. But the part that bothers me, the part that bothered me earlier was when it was, there's zero disrespect, and I wish you were in here so you can hear this, but hey, listen, there is no verifiable report, so I'm not going to believe it. Okay, we had verifiable reports of intelligence before, and then later on it was, that wasn't accurate. So you should have believed it, and then so those presidents should have believed it. But we did not have verifiable fact. So currently, using that same logic, they do not have a missile that can go 25. I was trying to make that point. Like, you want verifiable fact. Verifiable fact does not prove imminent threat because nobody knew they had a missile that can go 2,500 miles. This is why they were warning us. We got stuff, we're going to surprise you. Yeah, they did 2,500 miles. But no, they can't have an ICBM. Did you think they had one that went 2,500 miles? But they're telling you they have one that can go 10,000 kilometers. And you now don't want to believe it again. And this is where I just laugh at the whole imminent threat thing. If you wait for an imminent threat, you're a dead man. I know a guy who grew up in East St. Louis. When you heard a door slam, your head was on a swivel because every noise was an imminent threat. You didn't use the word imminent threat. It's a gun ready to shoot.
But it's not even just that.
Okay, you mind if I ask Mr. a question? Hey, Mr. Real quick, could you bring home up? He is trolling, but
Lord.
Hold on. He's a graduate of West Point. He's an officer in the Army.
He wasn't a graduate of West Point. Yeah. He graduated from the Citadel.
Okay, the Citadel. So he graduated the Citadel. He was an officer, and then after that, then he did work at the Central Intelligence Agency in Langley, Virginia. I can show you those pictures as well. He does have brain damage, so if you can get him to be serious and stuff, he's actually a very intelligent guy. Hi, John.
I'll say this before home gets started. When you guys are talking about imminent threats, also I guess missile capability is the only definition that would warrant imminent threat, because if you just Google it, Iranian intelligence agent was convicted for terrorism and murder for hire to kill Trump.
Yeah, that's been my drawer. I wish you've been in the rooms with us, because I've been saying that all along.
I understand how that's not an imminent threat.
Of course it's imminent threats. They tried to kill John Bolton. They tried to kill Mike Pompeo. They have to walk around with security details. They tried to take the Saudi ambassador out in a restaurant in Georgetown. I mean, there have been attacks or foiled attacks on U.S. soil, and also attacks against U.S. assets. This is not some country that's just came out of nowhere. We've been dealing with it for 47 years, and their proxies have killed American citizens, American soldiers, and American citizens. So it's been an ongoing imminent threat. It just matures to a different level, and when it matures to,
it's not imminent though.
First of all, you're not even acting. Then you actually are reacting. If they actually strike us first, you're reacting to whatever they're doing.
There will never be imminent. There will never be imminent.
Exactly.
Well, it's the problem is everyone has an idea of what imminent means to them, right? It's not an imminent threat to our borders. That's what some people I heard in the room tonight. We'll say, there was an imminent threat, they tried to kill our president, Bolton, that's not to our country, that's to one individual. Do you see what I'm saying? So the whole imminent part is the difficult, because everyone has a personal meaning to that word. That's why it's hard to juggle with that. One more thing before Leo and Home have some fun here is what our military and our 3-letter agencies don't tell us is a lot. And I will tell you a true fact. One of my late husband's very good friends, they were in many battles together in Iraq. When he left the unit, we stayed with the unit. He left. We thought he got a desk job somewhere in DC. We kept in touch, but it's like it's hard to keep track of everyone in the military. But then I was like, oh, he's like, oh, he's doing some operations. He got picked. They picked one Marine officer to join different 3-letter agency for operations or whatever. He got picked to be one. He ended up being. He was doing they called it a combined exercise, a combined interagency exercise. He got killed in Baghdad, and it wasn't allowed to be revealed that he was actually working with the CIA. It was sealed. Like the wife did not even know. The wife did not even know, was not allowed to know until 10 years after the fact. Actually, ma'am, your husband was working with us with the CIA. That is the reason why. He has a star on their wall. Like, they're not going to tell us everything, and everything's not going to come out until later on down the road. I mean, a lot of people.
Get the fuck off the train.
Go ahead, Leo. Have your fun.
What are you talking about? Go ahead, John.
Well, I operate from the perspective that there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe.
Who's the handsome guy in my PTR?
That's Major General Grinnells, of course, a Vietnam general. So, and John Kitover, Major. I will note. I was a major in that picture. I got promoted to regimental staff as a major from a private. So you can go from the bottom of the barrel to the top of the regiment if you know how to communicate. I got the job as the public affairs officer at the college because the other guy had to go to flight school, and they put a notice in an email. I said, hey, I'll be the public affairs officer. But I made a joke about the women at the college. I said, if we tried to auction you off in a date auction, we wouldn't raise enough to buy a Snickers bar. So the point is, there's not a speck of dust out of place in the whole universe. But what I'm trying to think is the Palestinian leadership and the Iranian leadership and the Hezbollah leadership, and also Bashar Assad, those are 4 major regime changes. What were they not thinking? What were they not seeing? What the fuck were they predicting? Because obviously they didn't predict their demise. So how the fuck did they not reverse engineer their defeats? That's what is, to me, is like the interesting aspect of warfare is why didn't they see it coming? And in my opinion, it's because Trump is the master of mercurial hypnosis. We are so conditioned to Donald Trump with his red tie, his golden hair, his mannerisms, what he says. We are all mesmerized by this great magnetizer. So all I'm trying to say is, communication moves mountains. And if you've never seen a mountain move, well, apparently you're just not listening to our great president. And it's destiny. This man, as somebody said earlier, for 30, 40 years, he's been talking about Iran. This is nothing new for him. He's been thinking about all these world affair issues, and he's been living through them, and he's rectifying a lot of wrongs and rights. But now that he's taken out Iran and cleaned up after Barack Hussein Obama, the trans lover, maybe it's time we arrest Barack Hussein Obama. Maybe it's time we arrest his wife or husband, Michelle Obama, CIA agents who on their own Wikipedia page, their first job out of college was working for Business Intelligence Information, a CIA economic think tank. These people were born and bred in the same way that Trump was born and bred for destiny. I go back to my original point, and I'll finish. There is not a speck of dust out of place in the entire universe. Hello?
I want to say something I heard on the news today that I thought was really interesting. One of the pundits. It's very frustrating to the left and to mainstream media because this administration, not the prior one, doesn't have leaks. They're not leaking this stuff. And they're so used to picking up leaks out of the military or out of the administration, and he's kept a pretty tight lip on everything. And it's a frustration for mainstream media. They're not getting the info they're trying to sleaze out that they usually. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Do you agree with that?
John, when you worked at the CIA, was there any leaks?
What was your question, Abby?
No, I mean the question. My question is what they were saying today on the news. Do you agree with that? That this operation and recently there's just not leaks. They're not and it's frustrating for mainstream media because they're not.
Don't let my children's lives be lost in. Don't let my children's lives be lost in vain. Keep pushing, exceed, and push and push and exceed even more. So Trump's speech tonight was historic. They pretty straight and should have listened to it. Pretty straight and should have listened to it.
That's his room. I mean, that's his room. I mean, you don't do that at his haters. We didn't know what he said. And the timing of his speech was against, oppression and coming out of slavery into freedom tonight. And it's there was some biblical connections to everything going on.
So, John, what do you foresee happening over the next couple of months?
I don't know. I hope it's decisive. But just like the Ukraine war, I don't believe that anything is short. Just like the Ukraine war, I don't believe that anything is short term. Because now you're talking about urban warfare, and if they have enough rifles, just like in the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, you can't stop a good thing. If they take Kharg Island, if they Trump made a lot of projections tonight about what could happen, and he told them straight up, we'll send your entire 900 or how many people are there? 990 million, 100 million. Anyways, he told them that he would send them all into the pitch black night, and you will die. House and complain to Sarah. So, and when you don't have access to the internet and you can't actually use your electrolysis machines to remove all the hair from your back, or you can't go to the plastic surgeon to have your rhinoplasty, you're going to see a lot of Persians finally rise up in the way that he urged them to at 2:30 in the morning. He said, take control of your government. It's yours. No one will in Batman. So that's what I foresee in the coming future.
It's all hypnosis.
I genuinely believe that Trump throws a lot of things out there just to send the left on a wild goose chase. Like when, we're going to send 10,000 troops over. I genuinely believe, they're going to bring them to the Middle East. That doesn't mean he's putting them on the ground, but he knows immediately That man knows exactly what they're going to do, what they're going to say. And now he gets them all on that witch hunt. But, well, we're doing something completely different. It does it routinely to them, and they continually fall for it. You know, I think it's going to be really interesting. Let's just say he's right. He's out of there in 2 weeks, a few days. I don't care if it's 3 weeks, if it's a month. If he's out of there, if Iran is at all a better place, they're going to have a whole lot of crow to eat, and that's going to be beautiful to see.
Yeah, do you who was it that I said near the beginning of the room? They're like, it's going to take 150,000 boots on the ground at least. Do you remember who was saying that at the beginning of the room?
I remember trying to think of
it. Wasn't Sig. It was it wasn't Sig. I think it was what's the guy's name?
Was it Ben?
No. It's that fake Republican from Texas, Marshall.
It was Marshall?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, no. He was saying that they sent 150 over. So that was, remember, because that's when I first popped in. Yeah, he was saying they sent them over for something else, and then they sent some somewhere else. So I don't think he was trying to say they sent 150 in for something specific. But
no, it's going to take over 150,000. That's what he said. So I'm like, how do you come up with that number when you don't even know what the mission is or this? Do you see? And they're like, oh, well, we were comparing it to.
If you're the Iranian leader, and I'm Trump, and I say I'm sending Trump, and I say I'm sending boots, I'm sending X number of thousands of troops over, you're gonna start to prepare, aren't you? Like, just in case, because I mean they're promising a massacre. So then you're going to have to start moving troops. Once you start moving troops, what do we start to get? We start to get intelligence of where you're moving troops to and where you're moving troops from. Things start moving. What do we start doing then? We start bombing you again. This is like, start doing that. We start bombing you again. This is like, he's playing chess while everybody else is still trying to figure, just stacking checkers, you know.
I'm sorry, go ahead, KK.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, he kind of telegraphed everything. It took, almost to the Middle East to get everything in order?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they were talking about this thing for a month at least. Forward is deployed to the Middle East, basically. And it's like people act like they couldn't tell what was going to happen if Iran did not come to the table diplomatically and solve it. He gave them all the time in the world, if people would ask me.
I got a question. You know, a lot of people here think they know a lot, but like, is anybody aware of how many battlefronts United States Special Forces soldiers?
A lot, yeah. I think I heard the term hemispheric warfare about a couple of weeks ago. Like, it's a new thing about our newest capability that we have. We can fight wars in every hemisphere away from our homeland. And win.
I mean, they got comms, every AFRICOM, Eurocom, there's a comm everywhere, but I think it's sustainable. Other people don't believe it's sustainable. But when you challenge how much we spend annually at 1.2, 1.3 and growing on defense, that's a lot of money annually. And if you break it down per day, per hour, per minute, it's just flabbergasting how much we neglect ourselves. We are willing to give to defense contractors and publicly traded corporations for our security. Now, we demonstrate unit using the top technology that we have is extremely efficient. That was not a prolonged war. It was a couple of hours. So what I'm saying is, with that type of attitude, that's what our military indeed should be, which is small, lethal, and extremely expensive, but nowhere near the size of the jobs program that we have that we call what it is now. And, you know, Trump has a big opportunity here to completely terraform the United States, and not just terraform Iran, but terraform the United States. And I think we have to start discussing what does that look like? What does a terraformed United States look like? Because if we're willing to invest hundreds of billions of dollars, trillions probably by the time this war is over, what did we do here in the United States in terms of the nation? Is it like, what's Trump's legacy going to be domestically?
So, you guys, I have a bit of a conspiratorial perspective about Venezuela and Maduro. Long story short, I actually think that he defected. I don't think that was like, the capturing like the news and everybody else thinks it is. I think he actually defected because it was too smooth and under 11 minutes. And for all intents and purposes, if you're a guy that hates the U.S. and is going out, like a soldier, you're going to go out in a hail of bullets, are you not? You won't allow yourself to get captured. If you're such this stand-up, leader who will not succumb to the American empire, it looks a lot like he defected in that it was basically, I think,
I would say that, like that saying 2-face, 3-face, 4-face, 5-face. It's so hard to know because if he betrayed his own cadre or his own cartel that he was a part of technically, because Trump said today that things are going great, Venezuelan leaders, and we're all making money. He said that tonight. So that means the new regime there, which is the military, are more professional, and Maduro and his socialista bullshit to a lot of these military generals was probably obnoxious, hyper-political, and waste of everybody's fucking time. But the thing is, Maduro himself was in a very dynamic political situation. But you could be right. He could have he might have gotten a special message saying, hey, we're going to give you a sweetheart deal, but you got to be patient. And him and his wife are living in New York, and they're going to basically live like how Bashar Assad lives in Moscow.
He knows everything about all the different. He will be a great resource for information to understand the true networks, with these different foreign nations. I think it was a perfect defection, which is good that, they have people think that, we snatched him up. But if I'm in Maduro's seat,
we spent.
What would the benefit be for him to do it that way?
He lives. I think, to the whole point, they were tired of him. I think they were tired of his bullshit, communist socialist ways, and he saw a way out. And again, he understands a lot of what China, Russia, and Iran wants to do because he was part of that network in the inner sanctum of it. And if we flip him, what kind of impact we would have for the next 20 or 30 years?
He wasn't up against one wall. He was up against 2 walls, 3 walls, 4 walls, 5 walls. Maduro, he's lucky he's alive.
He said the U.S. was going to come in then. So yeah, he can say, listen, guys, I'll come. We'll make it look like you come and get me.
And I did preface it by saying it's a big conspiratorial, but if you just imagine it, again, in under 11 minutes, you went to, I guess, the most fortified compound in Venezuela, and you grab it without him, kind of like going out in a hail of bullets.
Yeah, but the whole thing will come down to the trial and what his charges are, because when the government presents evidence, which they will, it'll be damning. There will be prosecutorial, aggression. But if he does have some type of sweetheart deal, and it was CIA or something like that, I don't know if you saw this, but the CIA vaults, it killed in a CIA vault or a CIA cave. in the same way that the IRS has caves and the federal government has caves full of documents, the CIA has their own warehousing system. And Brennan and Obama and even Tulsi Gabbard's damning report on Obama seemed to do nothing in terms of Obama's aura, his credibility, his position. And so, anyways, it is what it is. I mean, if Iran capitulates and these non-extremists or less extremists, because he says they're going to hit him for the next couple weeks, that's bluster. That means the Iranians are thinking, oh my God, like this is the apocalypse. But if he says we're going to hit him hard for 3 weeks, that's like saying, all right, let's hit him for 48 hours and then we'll see what they say at the negotiation table in fucking Brussels. So it's all speculation. This is all, again, hypnosis, in my opinion, and it's political and it's projection. And we hope that Trump, the miracle worker, is able to create an equilibrium. And there's not an escalation, hyper escalating the situation to our detriment. America has constant problems with the Russians in Afghanistan, Vietnam, etc. Payback's a bitch. And they are always looking for an opportunity to pop and scratch our face. They want irritation for America because we do the same thing to them. So it is a reciprocal friction, and only Trump can essentially de-escalate, which is a good thing. We here will mention it or discuss it, but our brilliant two. This major escalation historically. So, and generally, if there is an escalation, it expands. It doesn't, refract or come back in. It expands. So, in my opinion, I've always speculated that the baby boomers will boom us, meaning that they want to go out with a big dopamine party. And that big dopamine party could mean one of those fucking engineers who's been working on nuclear weapons for fucking 40 years says, time to use one. And next thing we know, there's a bigger fireworks party than we anticipated.
All right. Good to see you, my friend from Chicago, home, a few hours away. And Mr. Wright, it's Joe P. How are you?
What's going on?
Not much. I'm here to enjoy the after party.
Yeah, I'm about to shut down in a minute. It's 1:30 my time, and I gotta go to bed in just a minute here.
That's fine. I figured. Hi, JK.
Hi. Yeah, I was going to. Brad messaged me. I don't think he's going to come back. So, but I'm so happy you came on for one night only. That was good. You got to put 3 people down in the shut the fuck up section, which was lovely.
I was waiting on the sound effect. The oh no. I was waiting on that part right there. So I have to come back and do it again.
I would love that. We would love anytime. You know that.
Some people were talking about Tulsi Gabbard earlier and how she basically hasn't detracted from the president. Like, it seems like she understands the hierarchy, but in my opinion, she's just political. She's going to run for president, and that's the reason why she wouldn't dare badmouth our president. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But there's something about her you guys don't know about. She is part of a cult, and she is in a cult. And as soon as Biden became the president, the first thing she said was, we all have to get around Biden and support this election results. That was her first response. She was 100% in on Biden. I'll never forget it. But the point about the cult is, it's the cult of Maharishi or the cult of Osho. It's one of those types of cults. Her and her husband, God bless them, they're beautiful people. But you have to be aware of what you could call the Transcendental Meditation cult, the TM cult. These are people who are radical, essentially sovereign citizens who are subversives. But I will say, maybe in a good way, not necessarily in a bad way, maybe in a good way. But because Tulsi did out all the trans cultists at the NSA, she outed like over 100 of them. They had this like mind control thing where they were going on these power walk. You can Google this, look it up. Anyways, I'm just saying she's a beautiful woman. I like her. To me, she's transparent as transparent can be. She's been on that Joe Rogan podcast. She's, you know, a colonel now, or probably a lieutenant colonel in the Army. So she has a destiny, and there's a reason why she's not talking shit about the president, because then she would be a hypocrite if she runs for president.
Yeah, that might be. I didn't even think about it like that. So my late husband's one of his young Marines. It's been such a long time, but he got out of the Marine Corps. Then he crossed over to the Army Reserves, and she was his commanding officer, which was pretty cool. Like, it was pretty cool. He went to one of her official things, but he was on her like main team when she was his commanding officer, and he said she's so good to go, so squared away, so good to go. And I was like, oh wow, I didn't know all that about her, but I agree with you. She's very transparent. Yes, she did run as a dim once. Go ahead, sorry.
No, as I say, she ran as a dim. She was doing really great in the debate, but the problem was they all were talking about the free stuff that they were going to give out, the healthcare and everything else, and she stopped on the stage and literally said, how do you guys plan to pay for this? And then she started drilling them, and of course they kept trying to cut her off, and then the next thing you know, the debate was over. The next day they were asking her to step down. And I was like, this is funny, because we should be like Republicans for having a debate, having to vote 13 times per speaker. Well, that's called what adults do. We want to make sure that everything is right before you just go in on it. The other side says, we don't care if it's right or wrong. We're all going to unite, and we're going to just get behind one thing. So everybody's a monolith. Everybody's got to do one thing. We follow the leader. No dissension. He said to hell with that. John Fetterman saying to hell with that. You know, there was another one that came out afterwards and said, hey, you know, there might not have been an imminent threat here, but there was a Democrat that said there was an imminent threat to Israel. That doesn't mean I support us going in, but there was a threat. There's a few that dissent. Go ahead.
I'll be honest, I can't figure out who Trump's trying to lob, whether it's Rubio or Tulsi. It's one of the two.
I could see Tulsi as a VP candidate. I don't think she'd be ready for president. And Rubio's getting a lot of love right now. Just because first of all, the way he always remains respectful, calm, you know, very well spoken, very intelligent. I think he's going to end up being the front runner myself. Tulsi might run, but I think she'd make a great, you know, VP. There's some good names that are, you know, I still like David Ramaswamy too, you know, but where he turned is when he got into the combative stuff. But everybody on the stage was attacking him because they feared the young guy, the young billionaire who's, you know, built his war chest up himself, you know, and they didn't like it. So
and there's JD Vance. He's in there somehow.
Well, I got a theory about that too, Joe B. So to Ice's point about Marco, you know, Marco, I think, definitely is more of the statesman in the administration right now, the way he's handled himself. And, you know, he has the pedigree now, being a senator for a number of different terms and also being pretty much the best Secretary of State we've seen in a long, long time. And I mean long in terms of maybe 3 or 4 decades. But I do think, and don't be surprised by this, I think JD should take over Turning Point and really kind of rebuild the conservative landscape nationally for the next maybe 4 to 8 years. If Rubio can win with a high quality VP and, you know, get Turning Point back to where Charlie was taking it, because I can't see Turning Point lasting much longer. And this is not a shot at Erica. She's no Charlie, and she's a grieving widow still. But I think, you know, conservatives will be it will be more advantageous for the conservative landscape for JD to take over Turning Point and really kind of take it to the next level, as only he would be able to do.
How do you take it? How do you take it to the next level?
Vance may go VP, with Rubio. That's what I hear.
Wow, that would be a legacy. And then he could POTUS.
I heard Rubio and J.D. Vance will run together.
That would be a big winning
That's a
ticket.
dream ticket, but I don't think JD would take a back seat to Rubio.
He might.
For another 8 years.
You got to look at he's looking at it as a career. There's no term limits. And Peter Thiel is in the White House when J.D. Vance is in the White House. You know, this whole thing is everybody's got their billionaire backers, and that's really who you're talking about. That's the truth. I'm not saying that it's, you know, malicious or subversive, but when you read about J.D. Vance, honestly, a lot of this shit is performative. The only thing I remember, you know, after all these years of J.D. Vance is him yelling at Voldemort in the White House. And I still applaud that, right? But that's the only thing I remember about the guy.
So who do you think, honestly, that both of you, like, I think Rubio's a great candidate. I think Tulsi could, Tulsi ran as a Democrat, so she's clearly, but who on the left be somebody that could, who's their best candidate, I guess, because right now, I don't think Gavin Newsom is I don't know that California would even vote for him. California.
Obama's old
Westmoreland
chief of staff. He was the mayor of Chicago for a while.
You think he's
Chicago hates him. He can't even tell him about Chicago.
Yeah, if
Westmoreland
he was in Chicago, he's done.
And, you know, he would be kind of brought in as the, you know, Obama 2.0, you know, the clean black guy, that bullshit like that. But he has a military background. I think Westmoreland could be, because, you know, he's kind of lurking, you know, as far as like in the news media. They love him in Maryland. I do think he will pull some of the Rhino vote. So to me, that's who, if it's not news, I think Westmoreland will be the person, because then they'll try to go in and reshore up their quote-unquote black vote. And also, he may have an Hispanic VP running mate to try to shore up more Hispanic votes, which is what they've been missing because of Trump. Because Trump got more, a larger portion of the Hispanic vote. And in terms of the black vote, I think if he gets even, 13%, it's going to be a blowout for Republicans. If they get 13%, he got like 24%. So I think that's where you may see kind of like a dark horse candidate come to the front really quick, because Gavin's going to run out of gas and got too much baggage in California. Just too much.
Yeah, but he still has his hair. You know? If he was going thin up top, I would say he doesn't have a chance. His hair is strong. If the hair is strong on top, the man's got willpower. And AOC, if she's the candidate, you know, I would be more hypnotized by AOC than Gavin Newsom's hair. But to me, I like a big booty Latina.
Remember when that one guy was talking to her about being a big booty Latina? She got all offended. He was walking up the Capitol steps or whatever. I was dying. But Trump would have to he started his own stuff with Gavin, because I don't know if you've seen it, where they make him look like he was a Beavis and Butthead, whichever one is the dark haired one, and it does look like him. I was dying, but
do you
see
know
what they'd be doing?
I mean, they're actually fucking. What's going to happen is Van's going to use this whole time to kind of like collect all the nuggets, showing Newsom in such a bad light that he's going to be crushed when it comes to debates. There's going to be so much bad press on him, and all Vance has to turn around and say and do is like, well, but I did this. If you want to eliminate this, then I'm your president. Not Newsom. He allowed all this. Like, I think it was a genius idea to make him that knowing, and Kamala's from California too, so I think it was a good idea.
Well, look at all the politicians that are, you know, just raking it in. You get it on everybody, you know, on both sides, really. But I mean, he would have
makes in the hole from a hell of a position to go in and, investigate all of this.
Of, the roster of people who have attempted or people who are eventually, on that path. And it's obvious. Well, first of all, Rahm Emanuel, former Chicago governor, has been creating content nonstop. He's crying on camera, doing these roundtables. That's funded by Citadel, Ken Griffin in Miami now, who moved out of Chicago. So they're already cultivating and preparing candidates for these next, upcoming campaigns, and it's all content. And so, anyways, people say that there's no political solution to the debt crisis, but I would challenge that is the only solution, because it will take political leaders to essentially discharge the debt via law. And so until you elect candidates who are actually willing to use the law to discharge the onerous debt on many mega cities like New York or Chicago or any city that has a ton of debt, or the federal government itself, they will have to use the laws to discharge the debt to the detriment of the banks. But to me, that's the only way to essentially save America from, hyperinflation or odorous taxation and odorous hyperinflation. So we have to have smart politicians who are lawyers who work in debt bank, who are going to help alleviate the debt crisis.
Okay, on that note, I think we need to draw. Are you ready to shut the room down?
I am.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, friends. Thanks for all for joining in and participating. Great. Close the room then. Good night. Thank you, God. The dogs are terrible. Go Buckeyes.
Go Buckeyes. The Bucks are terrible. Go Buckeyes.
Uncommitted to a particular view. Okay. Well, I should have Christian hallucinated. I don't know. By looking at the evidence and saying, "Oh, well, I don't know because of this evidence." Right. But you're not telling me what that evidence is.
What? No, see, I don't need evidence. I don't need evidence to prove a negative.
I forfeit. You're done. You're cut like fucking corn now.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. If you want to tell people that there is a God,
I don't need evidence for God.
If you want to tell people,
thank you. I don't need evidence for God. Just like you don't need evidence for God. Okay.
So you can talk over me if you want. If you want to tell people that there is a God, then you need some kind of evidence to back that up. If I want to tell people that there is no God, I don't need evidence for that. All I need is the lack of evidence, right? And there is plenty of lack of evidence. There's plenty.
That's like the argument from nothing, right? So it's once again.
No, it's not. It's not. You are defending an assertion. You are defending an assertion, and you think that me saying no from that's fucking bullshit. You are positing an assertion. I don't have the evidence to defend against your positive assertion. I don't have to do that. Okay?
Does that make sense? Running around with its head cut off.
I'm sorry? You believe that God exists. You think that other people should believe that God exists. I don't have to provide grounds for why that assertion is not correct. I just have to provide grounds for why people have believed in what they believed in ever before. First place, like it's just so fucking stupid. Like you and people like yourself, people of your ilk, you are the worst kind of people. You're the worst kind of fucking people.
It's because Andrew awake. Do you think that all people who infer that God exists are the worst people, or just certain people?
The ones who force the belief on others.
Yeah, I see. Without proper evidence, right? Is that it?
Yeah, I mean, there is no proper evidence. Anyone that forces their belief on others at all.
Okay. What in your mind? What would be evidence for God, if any, if there isn't?
So what happened to Andrew?
Kachi left and gave Andrew mods. I don't know if Andrew's awake.
Yeah, I don't think he is.
I'm here.
Well, Andrew, how about we have some fair mods added in case you disappear?
Yeah, well, sure. Euro, I mean, you sound like a fair candidate, but
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
In all fairness, it just seems like the scope of the conversation earlier was based on like homosexuality. I was actually enjoying like the conversation and the dialogue Andrew was having, and it seemed like a certain person was offended by that. They, I think they don't believe in the Bible, and it's reasonable to think that, because it doesn't allow for particular lifestyles. And I think that, if this doesn't allow for somebody's lifestyle, they'll say, well, I don't have a reason to believe that because this is the way I am. And then the other issue is like, upon like figuring out here, like, well, how do you know the Bible? How do you exegete or like understand the knowledge within it? What kind of hermeneutics you're going to use? So, the dude's not even like willing to sit here and listen to me on the basis of like, well, when you get into like the fringes and, mixed like, or linen and all this other nonsense. It's like, well, I'm a person from another nation. I'm a Gentile. These laws aren't specifically for me. So it's like, it's not the understanding issue. It's not the evolutionary issue because like, I'm not hallucinating. I think evolution has good evidence backed by it, and I do believe it. And that's a mechanism I think that God uses to bring forth life in the universe. But just to kind of get back to the original baseline of the conversation, it was pertaining to homosexuality. And I'm sorry if it offends you, and I'm apologizing to you in all kindness here, right? Could be a little humble just to engage in it. But I think the reason why you don't believe in God is because it doesn't allow for like a homosexual lifestyle. Now, if that pisses you off or like it makes you mad, like I'm not attacking you as a person by saying that. I'm just kind of trying to motivate the conversation and see where it leads, because it seems like that is more the case why you probably reject Christianity, because I know that you're gay. And there's nothing wrong with being gay, but let's be clear here, it's the action that's condemned, not the person. So like we can motivate the conversation like differently and have the discussion, or like you can just sit here and be mad and hide behind ambiguity. And that's great. You can be ambiguous about your beliefs, about the evidence that you use to arrive at your conclusions and all that. But don't sit there and say, well, my argument is I don't need evidence for my argument, therefore my argument true, because you're not going to like that when Christians do that. So don't special plead.
That's a key part of his position.
But that's a part of the reason I asked what I asked. Like, what would be your evidence for God, if any?
That's great.
Christian, you did a good job on the fine tuning the other day, buddy.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, well, good. Hey, Sean, are you a Muslim, my friend?
Yeah, Andrew, don't act like you don't know me, man. We're friends.
I know you, and that's why I say alaikum salam. Assalamu alaikum.
You kicked Casey?
Well, no, I did not kick Casey. Probably, maybe he got drunk and passed out. I don't know.
He left in mid-sentence. It's kind of weird. I thought he was talking.
Where'd Sean go? Well, darn it.
I wanted to say, because Casey was challenging whether there were verses in the New Testament, and I think there are verses in the New Testament.
There are.
There's Matthew 19:4-6. It's pretty clear. I mean, Jesus is talking about humans, male and female, then his father and mother, and be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's a pretty strong precedent.
No, but he was saying that it wasn't there, but it is there.
He's never talked sexuality. He didn't explicitly mention homosexuality, but by mentioning,
He definitely talked about male and female. He goes, well, Mark 10:6-9.
I agree.
Therefore, God is joined together. Let no one separate.
Yeah, that's like about divorce. But yeah, they
no, but the point is, he's talking about a man and his wife in that sentence.
Well, yeah, it should be, because the two become one flesh. But, somebody might say, well, why can't a gay person become one flesh with another?
Well, I'm just saying what Jesus said. Jesus talked about a man joining his wife.
Yeah, he said that it wasn't like this in the beginning, that a man should join. That was in the context of divorce. And they might try to argue, as they do, that he's just saying, hey, look, when God joins two people together, you don't separate it, because in the beginning he joined two people and they became one flesh, and you don't separate it. But he's not making a prescription that male and female are the only two. It is, but they try to argue that it's not. But here's what I was just going to say real quick. Christian, you haven't met Brother Euro here. Euro is a very strange individual because he won't tell you what his commitments are. So you can't really tell if he's a Christian or well, he's not a Christian. He's definitely not a Christian. But you can't tell if he believes in God or not. So he doesn't really tell you. But here's the thing. He doesn't think that the fine-tuning argument is a very good argument. And I'm thinking maybe we could get him to at least affirm that God exists, or that the fine-tuning argument is a good argument and it should make somebody at least think that God exists. But at least raise their credence in God existing. I would love to hear Euro's comment on your presentation on the fine-tuning, because I think you understand it very well.
Yeah, well, before I do that, I have to ask him this question. Euro, well, first of all, Euro, are you there? Because I haven't heard you speak yet.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, spectacular. Well, first, why don't you think it's a solid argument, or at least something that is
primarily because we don't know the probability distribution, and if you don't know the probability distribution, there's no way to say that this is likely or
ability
related. So
generally, and there is which I'll present to you in a second. The is the generalized number that physicists came up with for the cosmological constant of coming by chance, and it's
demented
1 in 10 to the power to the 50th power. So way too many zeros behind that one. I don't even know how to say that in words, but it's a very, very minuscule amount. So that's the number that we have for the cosmological constant. And then I'm hopefully going to go into my notes right now and find the other ones. But what would be your response to that one? That to them rates.
Already got in my cabinet. And it's just all in. Terrorist sympathizers for the U.S. government. Like, what are nice seats?
You have a pockets. I hate to say it, but you're being used by these people.
I'm being silly. Damn, I forgot how much. But
I can get like 5 bags for $10, so whatever that is, right? Somebody do the math for me because I ain't thinking, even though I know my math and I already got it in my head. Thank you. Okay, $2 a bag. But y'all can go get y'all soil and let's plant some stuff. And you can make your own seasonings for real. Like we gotta count on this day, baby. So do your shit.
And isn't like onion powder and stuff, like if you just dehydrate raw onion and you like put it in your blender, that's onion powder right there. Same for garlic powder.
Correct. Yes,
it's pretty simple.
And it's fresher. It's more real. And it's yours. And it's not
but to the morons that's gonna fall for the shit. Well, he is an IRGC supporter because if you clearly saw the bombing a country, that people are coming out and cheering and saying fucking thank you to America. Have you ever seen anything like this in fucking history? Are you guys all fucking retarded?
He's 100% right. He's agreeing with you. Who's disagreeing with you?
He is right.
No, he's
saying
you're disagreeing with you.
You're allowing the platform of fucking IRGC.
Literally, get rid of him. Remove him from the room. He's only
What the hell are you guys doing? It's crazy. You're letting him talk. Don't let the crazy guy talk.
Remove him from the room if you don't want him here.
Hold on, guys. That's 500 IRGC supporter.
People are so worried. Remove him.
He can listen to other educated people. He has every right to listen.
He has a right to listen to terrorists?
Doesn't matter. There's a bunch of terrorists.
I get confused on what's moral and what's not.
There's a lot of Native Americans in this room right now.
And I said the same shit, and you guys just came out here without doing We can't do that because I just said people see our government as terrorists, and you guys are like, no, it's not the same. This is IRGC. Then remove him. You shouldn't be here.
The best thing to do is adopt them down.
Iranians never had slavery for 200 years. Remove him.
Force them to listen to like.
Okay, get someone else. He doesn't understand what we're saying anyway.
You're right, John.
Okay, this is unnecessary. Like, can someone new speak? This is going nowhere. Like,
Yeah, go ahead. That's 500.
Okay. So, basically, I just like 30 seconds uninterrupted. I promise I won't do this anymore. So, our business as Americans is to look out for America's interests, which include Israel's interests, Israel, protecting Israeli lives and standing with Israel, right? And that's really, as Americans, that should be our focus. But, when we're saying like, they killed so many of their own people, these are just lame excuses, okay? This war is about a lot of things. It's about resources, it's about money, it's about geopolitical supremacy. It has nothing to do with those protesters. That's their business. Whatever Iran is, but we don't know the culture. We don't know the culture of time.
Let him speak, please.
Let that guy talk who has his name is Russian.
Guys,
he asked not to be interrupted. Can you just let us 500? He's not done.
Abby, please touch the mic to drop out after that.
Nobody has gone to Iran and personally counted the bodies and verified how many people have been killed, right? So this is all speculation, and it's really diverting from the true point here, which is the U.S. should be standing with Israel against Iran. Israel has a serious, legitimate security concern about Iran, and as Americans, I think we should be loyal to our country and our country's foreign policy. The core pillar of our foreign policy is keeping Israel safe, right? And
Incorrect. I'm sorry.
No, he's LARPing, guys. Last time I talked at 500. He was going on a rant about how the fucking IDF is a bunch of scumbags.
No, he's laughing.
He was pro-Gaza last time.
Listen. So the reason why the 30,000 or how many dead protesters are relevant to this is it showed an indication that the timing was right for the U.S. to act because there could have been enough outrage on the ground to actually spur regime change. So that's why there's a relevancy to the amount of protesters that were killed. Second, the stronger that we make our Arab coalitions, the weaker about U.S. interests. It just happens to align with what Israel doing in the region as well. But this is all about U.S.'s interests, and the stronger we can make our allies with the Arab countries, the Gulf states, the Arab Saudi, the UAE. What's that?
Sure, you're spot on because it's the UAE, it's Saudi. Look at how it's 14 countries or 12 countries. I don't have anything there. Hey, they shot at the hotels. I just stayed in a hotel 2 weeks before they shot at it in Dubai. Okay, that's not a military base. It's a 6-star hotel. Like, it's ridiculous. These are civilian locations they're shooting at. This is civilian terminals and airports. There's nothing to do with military bases.
Hold on 1 second. Moderators, did one of you kick or block Michael?
Wow. Yeah, I have Michael blocked.
Hold on. Of course you. Moderators.
Yeah.
But let's get that. Hold on. Can we just get this? Did somebody kick or block Michael? I just want to know. Rich hasn't blocked.
Yeah,
Michael that was here talking.
Okay,
I blocked like the 50. I'm not a bitch. You guys are so disrespectful. You see that I'm trying to moderate a room.
We don't know what you're talking about.
Well, obviously you are not a part of this conversation.
Say his full name.
Rich, shut the fuck up.
There's like a lot of Michaels.
Just between the mods, you guys. Shut up. Go ahead, Eva.
This is my house. I'll talk.
Michael B. He was the guy. Go to report a recent jacket.
Oh, the gay guy.
He had the open jacket.
Yes, his username is One Young God. If you go to report a recent speaker, he is one of the recent speakers. You can find out who it is. It's One Young God.
The guy that claimed that Shlomi was a
Yeah, that guy.
I don't think he claimed it. He asked for evidence, and then
he claimed it.
He said that he will know.
Well, it doesn't matter. Did you kick him, Abby?
No.
Abby, did you kick him or block him?
No. I don't
Okay,
have
so
a block.
you kicked him or blocked him?
Well, Ema, if he was kicked, doesn't matter if he's a block because once he can anyways enter into the room. So if he's
Well, all I'm asking is who kicked or blocked him?
I know what to tell you.
But did he
It was a fascist. Yeah, we're all gonna do like BB
Because if he wasn't kicked, because this is what he said. He said that he went out to restart the app, but then when he came back, he can't get in the room. So I
Tell him that